Well, the first step is to start with $2 million because if you want to make a million, you got to start with two. And I say that as a joke, but the reality is that if you don't have enough cash to pursue your dream, you're not going to get there.
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
How would you like to achieve your first million? And today we have Robert joining us, which is an executive coach. So Robert, tell us, what are the 5 steps to make your first million?
Well, the first step is to start with $2 million because if you want to make a million, you got to start with two. And I say that as a joke, but the reality is that if you don't have enough cash to pursue your dream, you're not going to get there. I've seen a lot of my clients with really amazing dreams and visions and really great ideas and products, and they just don't have the ability to sustain it long enough to get it over the hill. So you do need to have cash, and even the best ideas will fail if there's not enough money to keep you alive. And I think that's one of the things we underestimate the amount of time it's going to take to get there. So start with enough cash to support the vision of where you're going. Then the second thing I would do is make sure you're very clear about the vision of what you want to see at the end, and then work backwards. A lot of people have an idea, but they don't have a plan. And that just becomes more of a wish or a dream. But without it being in writing and you have the ability to plan for it and measure against it, you don't know where you're going and you lose focus. Some of the early shiny pebbles that leaders will see or entrepreneurs will see as they start their businesses, someone will come along and say, hey, you should market here. You should run a campaign here. And they go, yeah, that sounds really great. But they haven't aligned it against the vision of where they're going and the plan of which they put in writing to get there. And so you'll end up spending the limited money you have and the limited time chasing things that really don't move the needle. Then you say marketing doesn't work and you give up and you're frustrated, but it does work. You just didn't do it right. So again, back to that written plan, have it in writing. The third thing is to align yourself with other people who will help you stay focused. It's easy to get distracted as an entrepreneur. I've watched many times where people get overloaded and burned out in their journey to try and be somewhere or do something. And so when you align yourself with other people who will look at you honestly and say, hey, that's not part of what you told me you wanted to do. Or, hey, it seems like you're not moving fast enough. How do I support you? Even as a friend, my wife, my beautiful wife, Kathy, and I, and we've been married 26 years. She loves
Wow.
and supports me, but she doesn't get some of the principles that I'm working on. When I have challenges, she'll go, that sounds great. So you might be getting counsel from someone who cares about you, but they're not qualified. So they need to be qualified and have care about you.
I am
So
there
the fourth,
100% agree. Yeah.
am I going too fast?
No, you're going brilliant. And I love this part that you said a lot. We're going to talk more about that later.
Okay. So the fourth thing is have your measurements in writing and then track against them. It's often we let ourselves off the hook. This is why I wrote this book on accountability, was because a lot of times we look at accountability as punitive, but it's actually power, it's freedom, it's the ability to do what we really want to do. If you write it down and you say you're going to make 3 sales calls a day, or you're going to have 2 presentations a month, or you're going to raise $1 million by this time, if you're not doing it, you're not doing it. But we let ourselves off the hook a lot of times and we don't measure honestly. Don't skew the numbers you set up to track. If you were gaining weight and the pants no longer fit, you could say, hey, I think I'm gaining weight. There's something that controls your decisions. You don't have that in business a lot of times. And we end up giving ourselves grace to screw up. And so if you're going to have the measurements, really be committed to measuring them honestly. And then the fifth one is just never give up. And I started this business when I was 50 years old. And I had been living my whole career as a marketing guy, and I
Wow.
found the passion to lead peer groups. And I switched my career completely. I knew nothing about peer groups or executive coaching, but I realized that's what I want to do with my life. And so when you have a vision and a passion for something, don't give up. There were a lot of years where we were broke and we just were struggling, but we knew this is where God called us to go and we weren't going to quit. So if you know for a fact that this is what you want to do and this is what your purpose is, never give up.
Wow, Robert, I think that what I hear from you is fantastic. And you touch a point here that I want to expand a little bit more because I know exactly what you're saying. And it's in terms of get the advice from people that you love, yeah, for people that care about you, yeah. And I got that in my life a lot, yeah, especially um when I started my company. Yeah, a lot of people give me advice, especially my dad and And even some employees that give me the advice, yes, because I always encourage leadership and I empower my team, right?
Yeah.
However, they are not qualified to give that advice. My dad never had a business in his life,
Right.
and
And
basically
your employees, they have a skewed perspective.
98% of people that come to give me advice, they are not qualified, and now they're telling me, Harry, you don't listen, and I'm the person that don't listen. Yeah. So Robert, help me out here. I don't have it that much anymore. I managed somehow to, but it was tough. It was tough for me because I couldn't articulate it. That it's not that I don't listen, is that they are not qualified. Because Robert, for me, even if you give me the right advice, you can give me the right advice. If you're not qualified for
Right. That's
I
right.
won't take it. I won't
Yeah,
take
it's
it.
the
This
idea
is
of an
how Harry
idea.
operates. This is the truth. Yeah. I'm telling you, I'm 47 years old and operate like this since I started my first business. This is how I operate. This is who I am. I won't take it if you're not qualified. Yeah. Even if it come from my dad, which is my parent, the people that I more love, yeah, I won't take it. However, now Robert come and tell me the same thing that my dad is telling me. But Robert is an executive coach in been in business for so long and has growing and he had done it himself, and now then I take the advice, and now the interesting thing, my dad come and said, I told you and you didn't listen to me, and now look. Yeah. So save me, Robert, save me. What can I do, or what entrepreneurs can do with that because this is exactly what you describe is happened to me. That's what resonates a lot. That what we want to expand on this. So how you what message do you have for entrepreneurs that they are in my position, that also have been in your position? Maybe your wife, the person that you love the most, can tell you, okay, Robert, try to do this, and then you can say, hey, but sometimes you cannot take it because maybe in this particular area she doesn't have experience. She loves you, she wants to help you. And so how you deal with all that? What message do you have for entrepreneurs in that situation?
It's called an idea meritocracy. And Ray Dalio coined that phrase. I don't know if he coined it, but he quotes it in his book, Disciplines. Principles. Anyway, the book is all about what things that he learned that helped him be the 13th richest man in the world.
Wow.
Or at least in the United States. And he almost went bankrupt because he wouldn't listen to people. And so he learned the hard way that it's important to take counsel from those qualified in your world. However, there's an idea meritocracy. That means that not every idea has the same value. And so what you need to tell the people in your life that you love is, hey, I hear what you're saying, but here's what I want to do. I don't want to put the pressure on you to give me advice that doesn't work out, and then it affects our friendship. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tuck that away and make that a part of the data points that I collect to make my decision. And I give a certain amount of credit to my wife for her input and my father for his input, but I give a different amount of credit to a person who's done the business and understands what I'm going through and is qualified. And you give a higher score and you aggregate them all together and you make the decision. But by telling your family and those you love that, please don't be offended, but I'm going to add this to my concerns and I appreciate your input and I will consider it as I evaluate my choices.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.